You have to trust that you're on the right trail. But how do you trust that you're on the right trail if hello and welcome to Rants and Gallavants. I am your host, ELLIE SHOJA. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And we're going to rant. We're going to rant because we start this show off with a rant, with something that is top of the mind for me. And what is top of mind for me is how many people just don't start. Like, how many people are waiting for permission to do the thing that they know they should be doing? Their soul is like calling them to do. You might be one of these people. You might have all sorts of excuses for why you haven't started. You might be saying things like, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if people will like it. I don't know if my ideas are any good. I mean, these are things that I hear from my clients, and it drives me up the wall. You guys, first of all, there is no like mayor of the internet or mayor of readiness who is gonna come and say, hey, you are ready now. That readiness comes from inside of you, right? And second of all, taking action actually makes you ready. Action creates clarity always. If you are confused, take action. Move, take one step. Take one step, one tiny step toward in the direction that you want to go into. And then all of a sudden you'll see that, oh my gosh, I have now a little bit more clarity because action creates clarity. Action tells you either if you are on the right track with that step that you just took, or if there is another step missing, it's going to show you the gaps in your knowledge. Action is so powerful. So here I am, I'm ranting, I'm telling you that readiness is a myth. If you're waiting to be ready to take the step to move forward, you're going to be waiting for a long time. And that's the sad, sad truth. You're going to be waiting for a very long time because waiting doesn't create readiness. But let's talk for a moment about confidence, right? Because all of that stuff that I just said, not feeling ready, feeling like I need validation, like what does that mean? Where does that even come from, right? What is at the core of it? What's at the core of it is a lack of confidence. It's insecurity. I feel insecure. And so therefore I need someone to tell me that this is going to work. Therefore, I need someone to tell me that my idea is good enough, right? I feel insecure, but where does confidence come from? Literally from doing the thing. It's a catch 22. It's the like the circular thing. You do the thing and then you feel confident and then you feel like you can do it and then you do it, right? So, but you have to do it first. If you don't do it first, you're not going to build confidence. This is why so many actors who make it, who like break through, right? Actors, directors, musicians, so many of them who break through, they talk about paying your dues, right? And paying your dues is kind of code for doing a bunch of stuff for free, doing a bunch of bad things, bad things, not like, oh, naughty bad things, but like bad as in like, you know, B movies or student films or performing in front of 5 people, and that's sort of like uh crappy work. You're making a bunch of crappy work, but you do it and you do it and you do it until you feel more and more confident. And how much, in Hollywood where I live, people talk about you have to pay your dues, you have to like do something for do the free stuff, do the student stuff, and do the this and do the that in order to like get your foot in. But actually, I believe how long do you pay your dues depends on how many of those things do you need to do in order to feel confident enough to say that I am this thing, right? So if you are an actor, for example, you have to do enough of those things where you feel like, okay, now I have amassed this knowledge and this information, and I know how to operate in all these different situations, and I know my craft now because I've done it under this circumstance and under that circumstance and with this kind of a director and that kind of a director. And now I feel confident to welcome in opportunities where I am actually being noticed and where I'm actually making money, where I'm actually showcasing myself with pride, right? So you pay your dues. Oh gosh, I don't even like that term because it suggests that it's mandatory that you have to pay to receive. It's not like that. You're not paying to receive something. You're literally spending energy building confidence. That's what it is. You do the thing for little or no pay until you feel confident. And that can mean you do it for a month. It can mean you do it for a decade. It can mean you do it for a whole lifetime and you still don't feel confidence. But you do it until you feel confident enough to give yourself permission to just go for it, to just go for it. And I see so much of that in the book writing world, right? Because that's the world I'm in. I run the International Authors Academy at myauthors.academy.com if you want to join us. So and these authors, these aspiring authors, right? People, healers, brilliant individuals with incredible ideas and amazing work that they have done in the world. They come still seeking permission. In one of the academy calls, just a couple of days ago, actually, what day is today? Today's Wednesday. Yesterday, it wasn't even 2 days ago. Yesterday, in our group call in the academy, one of the members said that he was, going through the process and developing his ideas and so forth. We have a whole process for writing your book, and he's going through it. And as he's going through it, he realizes, he's like, why am I pussyfooting around these ideas that I want to share? Why am I just like talking around it instead of saying, hey, this is what it is? And then he says this on the call, which just blew my mind. He's like, I have worked with over 10,000 people. I have, for each one of those individuals, I have at least 10, sometimes 100 data points. I know what I'm talking about. Why am I still just talking around the subject instead of to the heart of it? Why am I doing that? And that was like this huge aha moment that he had. And then he stopped doing it and the floodgates opened up and he's writing and sharing from this empowered place where he's owning his message. But do you see, he's worked with 10,000 people and it took him that long to give himself permission to say what he actually means. And how many of you at home are doing that right now? Like, what are you doing? So to woo it up, that was my rant, and we're gonna woo it up. We're gonna go one step, just pull out, zoom out to the 30,000 foot. Like, it's actually much higher than that. Like, zoom out of this universe, this galaxy, this universe, this entire physical, experience of being incarnated in the physical world. Let's just zoom out, right? So on that woo galactic level, you and I are the same. And I don't mean we have similar qualities. I mean, on an energetic level, every one of us is connected, not just every human being who is alive now, but every human being who has ever, ever lived. So all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge, the accumulative just consciousness that exists, you have access to. What do you think people are doing when they have psychic experiences? They're literally just tapping into the stream. They're just taking one tiny sip from that stream of consciousness that every one of us is a part of. Literally, all of us we have access. Do you understand what that means? You have access. That means if you have the desire inside of you to do something, the wherewithal, the path to actually do it starts unfolding inside you. Yes, you start seeing the external manifestation of that unfolding when someone hands you a book, when you suddenly see, I don't know, somebody in that space on the internet and you're like, holy shit, what they're saying is really interesting. And then you try it and you actually are good at it. And all of this unfolding starts to happen externally. But the first step is inside of you. You tune into that frequency of wanting that thing. And then if you just allow yourself to go with it, all of that wisdom and the knowledge and the consciousness and the information, all of that in that space that you're trying to learn just starts to unfold inside your life. It starts to unfold inside you and outside you because there's no difference between the inside you and outside. Oh my gosh, we can get so woo with this. It's mind-boggling how woo we can actually go. But just keep it, even if you just keep it at this level of we are all one consciousness, and everything that I want to know and experience, I have access to, and I can find my way to it simply by allowing myself to move in its direction. And what does that mean, allowing myself to move in its direction? All it means is when the thought comes, don't negate it. I really want to learn piano. Oh, but I don't have a piano. But no one in my family is musical. Yeah, I don't even know if I could blah, blah, blah. Like, don't negate it. I want to learn piano. Oh, cool. Let me watch some videos online. Oh, maybe there's a music store close by. Maybe I can just I don't know, drop in and practice on their pianos. I don't know. Maybe they'll let me do that. Maybe I can get a keyboard. Maybe I'll talk my roommates into buying a keyboard with me. Just go with it. Just go with it. Because here's the thing, all you need to know is the next immediate step. Take action on that next immediate step. And then the next step appears. And then the next step appears. And then the next step appears. And the next step appears. And before you know it, you're across town. You just take one step, one step, one step, one step, and then boom, you're like, oh wait, I just walked 20 miles. How'd that happen? One step at a time. That's how it always happens. So think about that, right? Think about it and just make a conscious choice right now to take that next step. What is your immediate next step? And don't even think about it oh, let me strategize. No, don't think about it with your head. Think about it with your intuition. It's what do I feel like doing next? And it might feel completely oh, I'm wasting time. Maybe you're I'm just gonna sit there and watch piano videos for the next 3 hours and do that, right? Because your brain is assimilating. It's acclimating to that. It's observing it, right? There is such incredible wisdom inside of you that you're just squashing all the time with your what is it? Lack of permission, with your overthinking, with your needing to know the finish line before you even start the next step. There's so much wisdom that you're not tapping into. And the solution to all of it is to just take the step in front of you. Take it and see what happens. And then take the step in front of that one and take it and see what happens without judgment, without getting in your own way, without butting it, without any of that. Just go with the stream I want to share with you a story of a very interesting Galavant. And it's the kind of thing that often happens to me because I don't ask questions. When someone asks me to go gallivanting, I just say, okay, and then I just go. So a few years ago, I'm at a jazz bar club with a friend of mine, and we're watching another friend of mine's show. And you are inspired to take action, you guys. And if that action involves writing a book, job. My subliminal messaging is working. If it does not include writing a book, here's a segment for you. You should really be writing a book. Yeah, you should write a book. That's what the segment is called. You should write a book because I truly believe that every person needs to write a book. Yes, for your readers. Yes, absolutely. We benefit from books. Books have changed my life over and over again. Any time my life has expanded in a huge way, it was in response to a book. It was with the support of books. So books have always changed my life. I know they have changed your life, whether you realize it or not. Maybe it's from actually reading a book or from somebody teaching something that they learned out of a book, because that happens quite often too. So books are incredible healing devices. They're idea sharing devices, so they're powerful. So yes, write a book for all of the people who need to read your message and understand it and be healed and transformed by it. Yes, but really, really the benefit, the big benefit that no one talks about books, the thing that actually is the most powerful thing about books, writing a book, is that you transform. Books, writing a book is this process of self-discovery, of self-knowledge, expansion of self-knowledge, of falling in love with yourself. I have clients who've been doing what they've been doing, right? Teaching and teachers, healers, light workers. They've been literally changing thousands of lives with their work. And we start working together. They join the academy and we start digging into what their book is. And guess what happens? They actually discover things about themselves and about the work they do that they've never known before, that they've never put together in those specific ways before. And no matter how successful their businesses are, their business always expands. And this is why books, authors make really great speakers, because the process of writing a book allows them to understand their messaging on such a deep level and with such incredible clarity that they're able to speak those concepts with incredible clarity. And then they become really great speakers. They become great TED speakers. Those TED Talks are fantastic, who are based on books. Those, the keynote talks that are based on books are really gripping. They're really fantastic. So the process of writing a book makes you better at whatever it is that you do in your professional life and in your personal life. It's just a byproduct of what happens. Now, in relation to starting before you're ready, which is the theme of this episode, I want to address this thing that happens when people try to write books. A lot of times, this thing that I call blank page paralysis sets in. And blank page paralysis is exactly what it sounds like. It's like when you sit down in front of your computer and you don't know what to write, and then you write a sentence and you delete it, and you write another sentence and then you delete it, right? And sometimes what happens is you're like, okay, I'm not gonna have blank page paralysis because I'm gonna figure out what my outline is. I'm gonna figure out what my book is all about. And then I'm gonna know what I'm gonna talk about, and then I'll do it. So then what you do is you pull an idea out of the ether, out of thin air, and you're like, great, now I'm accomplished. I'm on my way now, right? And then you pull an outline out of the ether and you're like, great, I feel so productive. And now let me sit down and write. And then you write a paragraph and you have clarity. So therefore, you don't have the paralysis, right? So you write a chapter, you write another chapter, maybe you write another chapter, and then the paralysis sets in. Because the thing that counters blank page paralysis is clarity. So you don't have paralysis because you don't know what to say. You have paralysis because you don't have clarity about how everything is going to come together, right? And the moment you lose that clarity, all of a sudden the whole thing falls apart, right? The other thing that's causing your blank page paralysis is that you're kind of like thinking, you're writing with someone looking over your shoulder, and that someone is whoever you're imagining the reader to be, right? So now I'm imagining some reader, and then the moment I do that, I start doubting what I have done, the choices that I have taken, right? So then I'm like, okay, does the reader care about this? Did I start in the right place? Is this even the right chapter? Is this the right story? Is it, blah, 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 like, oh God, the sentence sounds terrible, blah, 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 right? So it's like you start questioning all of those things and then judging it. So, and meanwhile, this kind of voice inside your head is criticizing every single decision that you're making. And then as soon as you're writing a sentence, you want to delete it, you want to edit it. Not a good way to write a book, right? Because writing a book is a marathon. It's a mountain you're climbing. It's not like a little stroll around the block. If you want to write a really good book, you really care about the ideas that you're sharing. So it makes sense that you have this editor in your head, even though the editor is getting in your way. So what's the solution here, right? What do we do? What do we do to actually make sure your book gets written and you don't get in your own way and you keep taking those steps, one step in front of the next, right? Because that's, if you're going to climb a mountain, you can't take 3 steps forward and then take 3 steps back because you're questioning. You're going to exhaust yourself. You're never going to make it to the summit. If on that hike, if I kept going, like 50 feet forward and then 50 feet back and then 50 feet in that direction and then 50 feet back and then 50 feet in that direction, like if I did that, I would be exhausted. 3 hours would pass. I'd be so tired and I would never make it to that summit. So what do? You have to take one step in front of the next, 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 until you get to that top, right? You can't have someone questioning whether you're on the right trail or not. You have to trust that you're on the right trail. But how do you trust that you're on the right trail if you're trying to write a book that is cohesive and then all these different random ideas are coming up, right? Which one is right? Which one is wrong? Do you see how that creates confusion? So the solution, I'm going to give you the solution. The solution is you remove this idea that you are writing a book. You heard me correctly. This is the first thing that we do when people join the academy or when they work with me one-on-one. This is the first thing we do. We're like, okay, we don't even know what the book is yet. So we're not going to be locked into a book. We're not going to say, hey, this is the book, right? It's like, uh, I tell you right now, think of what's in your pantry and what's in your fridge. Don't check it. Don't check it. Just think about it, right? Just think about what's in your pantry and what's in your fridge. And what is the most delicious meal you can prepare for me right now? That's a difficult question to answer, right? Because there are ingredients in there that you have no idea are in there. And there are things missing that you don't know are missing. So we have to actually go look and see what there is and what we can put together. So the first phase of the writing is not to decide on what meal I'm going to prepare, which is what book I'm going to write. The first phase is to take inventory of what I actually even want to communicate, right? It's akin to opening every cupboard, every drawer in the fridge, and pulling everything out and putting it out and looking at it. Now, the thing, it's not a one-to-one analogy because your cupboards, your pantry, your fridge, you look at those pretty much every day, right? And some people are super organized. The ideas and our thoughts, we don't. We don't look at them every day. We don't even look at them every week or every month. There's no systematic way for us to keep track of what is inside of our head. There's no way of knowing what I even want to communicate because I don't even know what ideas I have inside my head until I give myself space to explore it. So here's your step one. If the mountain you're climbing is writing a book, I'm going to give you instructions as your book coach. Your step one is to create a document and call it extraction document. This is not your book. It's just an extraction document. And the extraction document is organized, not as a book. So what does that mean? That means, oh, all of the book ideas I've had, they go under book concept ideas. There's tabs in your document. All the title ideas I had go under title ideas. All of the stories I want to tell go under stories. All the themes I want to explore go under themes. Now, or if there's a timeline of events, I had a client who survived stage 4 cancer, so there was a very clear timeline. I had another client who wrote and directed a movie. Go to myairplanebook.com to pick up his book. So there was a clear timeline of events, right? So maybe there's a clear timeline. So you want to write out the timeline in chronological order, right? If you're a coach or a teacher or a healer, you have your own methodology. You have your own process. All of those go under processes and their methodology, right? You have takeaways. You have worksheets that you give to your clients. All of those go in there under worksheet. Let's say you do some research and you're like, oh, I wonder what percentage of people go through that specific experience. You do research. Guess what? All of that research goes under the research tab. So you're extracting, you're pulling out of yourself. You become your own number one, most interesting subject, and you explore and extract and pull out of yourself every single thing that you want to say. This is akin to opening up all the cupboards in your kitchen, all the fridge, every drawer, and pulling out every ingredient and putting it on the kitchen table. And then what happens? You're like, oh, I can put this, this, and this, and this together and make this meal. And I can put this, this, and this together and make this meal. And I can put these things together and make this meal. And oh my gosh, I can make the most delicious dessert by doing this, right? The same thing happens with your book. You're like, oh, all these ideas go together. This event that happened is its own book about that event. And then this process that I created when I went through that event and all these research pieces and all that goes into its own book about that process. And then there's a workbook that goes along with that where I can use these exercises that I developed that goes in there. And then maybe all of these quotes that I've collected, that I've been saying throughout the years, maybe there's a deck of cards or an inspirational book that's over here. So now you're able to see what all of your different books are. You're not pulling it out of thin air. You're not just thinking and like, what would I write? No, you're literally pulling this stuff out of yourself and then seeing the beautiful relationship that all these ideas and processes and tools you've created, that all of these different relationships will emerge for you, and you'll be able to identify the book that you actually want to write. And then, guess what? Blank page paralysis disappears because you're not writing from a blank page anymore. You're writing from an extraction document, which has a shit ton of words. Technical term right there. All right, guys, my positive prediction is that you are going to go and do this. You're going to create an extraction document. You're going to write your book. And you're going to message me and say, Ellie, that episode of Rants and Galavants was life-changing for me because it was the start of me writing my book. And if you need more support than that, join us at myauthoracademy.com. I love you guys so much. Thanks for showing up. I will see you next time.